Okay, so this is part two of the video. You know, you see the title and you see all that stuff, so I won't get into all of that. But I was just sitting there for that because I filmed right after another, and I don't edit yet. So I was just took a couple of seconds to say to myself, like, okay, what am I going to talk about in this one, specific to where I left off at? And I feel that the best way to do it at the moment is to say, let me jump into bus, though I don't have a bus yet. And you might be saying to yourself, well, he doesn't have a bus. How would he know? There are other individuals or whatever in the organization that have buses. And the thing I didn't get a chance to say in that other video, which I've said in my other videos and on other channels or whatever, is that we, the Illuminati, Anunnaki, created what you now call nomadism, bus life, and whatever, but you should have inferred that. And so it's so ironic that we keep trying to do all this good stuff, but we get blamed for all the bad stuff in the world and on other worlds and all this stuff like this, and people have no clue and they don't want to know the truth. Again, because of my skin color, because of my race, because of my appearance or lack of beauty, handsomeness, whatever, and all these other political and social whatever factors, and so now if none of those were barring, then I would have everyone literally, I'm not joking with you, flying around in UFOs. Our UFOs have always been homes. So at some point on this world, people are gonna, probably manufacturers who've been in business making cars and stuff for like the past 100 years or so, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we're the first ones to make UFOs and make them house. No, we've been doing that. I want everybody to know, please spread, if you don't spread nothing else about me. Yo, this dude from the Illuminati, Predada Severa, said he's the director of the Illuminati. He said him, being alien, but in a physical body, but different from y'all, and that's an explanation for another video. Him being that, and them being Anunnaki, the Illuminati, and it going further back to spirits and all of that, they are the original ones who've been nomads and done everything from UFO life, plane life, down to bus life, submarine life, boat, whatever you want to call it. All that stuff. Been doing that since the beginning of time. So that basically since the beginning of time. And so if I start there at let's say at bus life, that's a nice neutral ground, because the governments don't want you flying around. They don't want you in submarines going around. They want to be able to keep an eye on you. The truth of the matter is most people by nature are malevolent. And though you may disagree, every single one of you knows this to be true. I fight every day. Being who I am, I fight every day with doing the right thing, and not versus the wrong thing, but something that I would need to do to survive, still trying to do the right thing, but might complicate my life in terms of laws that exist. And so I know my struggles. I know the struggles of adults, old people, or whatever, old aliens, whatever you want to call them, young people, young aliens in the Illuminati. I know all our different struggles because of what I am. And so I've learned, I've seen, they've seen thousands of years, millions of years, billions, trillions, zillions, illions, millennia, whatever you want to call it, how humanity, just humanity alone, we're not including rats, roaches, mosquitoes, because they're all intelligent entities, whether you want to believe it or not, we're not including all of those. We're just talking about people for a second, or variances of people, be they amphibian, reptilian, avian, mammalian, or whatever the case. The ones that swim in the water, I always forget what to call them. And so, not amphibians though, like fish, mer people, but more just breathing underwater. Anyway, we won't get into that right now. I've seen the malevolence, and you know it yourself. Like All of y'all can get on social media. Oh, this guy says everybody's bad. And yeah, everyone is bad and tries to be good. The bad part, let me describe to you, is doing things that don't benefit the whole and that make things more difficult for your environment, so on and so forth. I think it takes a lot. It takes a lot just in general. Like if humanity had never existed and then you brought into being one person. Let's think Adam and Eve for a second, though that's a complicated thing in and of itself. But let's say Adam's here and he's like, yo, what's this? Yo, this is crazy. Oh, you made me? Oh man, what was you thinking? Yo, what I'm supposed to do? And God's like, I don't know, just do your thing, you know. I'm recording. We're gonna make this a YouTube video, a couple of videos. Maybe we'll make it a series. And you're like, all right, so you just start doing your thing. You're Adam. And God's like, nah, don't do that. Nah, don't do that. That tree over there, nah, you can't touch that. Yeah, but I'm saying it got apples and stuff. Yo, but no, don't touch that. Why? Because, you know, if you touch that tree, these things right here will happen. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And God is like, I know you don't know what I'm talking about, and I don't want you to know what I'm talking about, so don't touch the tree. And see, that's what I'm saying. Humanity is touch the tree, touchy-feely, everything that they're not supposed to do. Everything you're not supposed to do is what you want to do. The things you're supposed to want to do, you don't do, especially anymore, because we live in a world, societies, remember these were created, where you're born into this whole, if you want to call it, like a prison system. There were like a couple of prison videos that I watched. And so, you know, it's, you know, from the perspective of someone who's been in prison, to say how big of a difference it is there to here and how people fight here to end up there, not knowing what they're encountering or knowing from people who say you don't want to have nothing to do with it. Just stay on, no matter how hard it is here, stay on the straight and narrow. And so, you know, there's the straight and narrow, but it's difficult. And so I know I've veered a decent amount off of nomadism or bus life for a second here, but that's all important to know, because basically when you decide to get into, let's go into bus. I could really, if I want to, make this 3 videos. I cleared up some room on my hard drive on my phone, if you want to call it that, but I won't be able to post them all. That's the part that just annoys me. Just like I'm talking to you now, I would like for you to be able to see it and not see it a year from now or never if I have to erase it for some reason or whatever the case. Anyway, so I'm almost halfway through. What I would say is I try to make these 20 minutes. So let me say this. You want to run away. You want to run away from the craziness. There's a part of you, even though everyone is rooted in malevolence, there's that part of you that's good or doesn't want to be surrounded by this malevolence or wants to get away from being a part of it or whatever the case you want to say, that wants to get away and quickly and no matter what the cost. You know, you've been learning perhaps from other people, other channels, other, you know, interactions with social media or whatever the case, or family or whatever, that, you know, the reasons why the world is all messed up. The real reasons, some of the real reasons, even though those aren't really the real reasons, but, and so you want to get away and make your own thing, especially as you get older and you realize, hey, you know, I might not be here forever. Let me try to enjoy it. Some of you been working since you was teenagers. Some of you didn't have parents and you worked 2 or 3 jobs since you were, you know, lying about your age and got a job. Some of you went to college and you know, you have student loan debt, or you went to college and you got out and didn't get the job you were supposed to. Some of you only went to high school. Some of you didn't even graduate high school. And so you just know that there's got to be more out there. And you see this big, incredible world. And I just want to touch back to race for a second. you find out things which most of you should have, like, say, for instance, Africa isn't the small, tiny place that they put on the maps back in the day because they wanted to lie to you about how important, how large it is, and where everyone comes from. They wanted to lie to you. But now you find out that Africa is this gigantic place and all this diversity there, along with all these other countries of people and places you never heard of before. And some of them are living better than you, some of them not. And you're like, but I know I can live better based on what I'm seeing there on social media. So you want to get away. So I guess in this video, this is what I will say, because I said it in another video, but I didn't outline it. And I guess I'll take a little 9 minutes or whatever to try to outline that part. And hopefully it'll only take 9 minutes. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Y'all know me that well by now. Here's what happens. You do your research. You say, here's the two major things. If you get a bus, a school bus, we'll say a school bus, then you know these things are drop tested, literally picked up and dropped on their side. Some of them are falling off of overpasses, and all the kids walked away. None of them died. Then you have the tour buses. The tour buses, depending on what the company is, more tend to be made of stainless steel and or aluminum, but the goal being things that don't rust. So over time, 50 years, 20 years, whatever it is, you won't have something rusted out, especially the frame. That's important. What I will say to you is, because I am not in a position to make your vehicles, be they a submarine all the way up to a UFO and in between a bus or whatever, yet you are not going to get anything that is really anything if you sum total it. Once you start studying and once you have to live the life, because I want to specify this. I do black operations. There's things I can say and things I can't say. So I'll just say this. I'm not being transparent. I am being opaque because of what I do for a living. Keep that in mind. I'm a counterterrorism agent. The most powerful one, the most, whatever you want to call it, one in the world, on this world. And so I have to take precautions. So what I will say to you is, I do not live full-time in my vehicle. I am in my vehicle most of the time. My vehicle is my means of carrying out my job, and my vehicle is my means of when I have to, or my vehicle or vehicles, whatever it might be, are my means or is my means of going from point A to point B to do my shopping or whatever, or to go to a job that I have to hold down, because we do not get paid by anyone for being in the Illuminati. Our monies are made doing the same thing y'all do, minus any malevolent stuff. So now, where was that? Okay, so because I can't make your vehicles, you have to find out on your own that though having a vehicle which is stainless steel is of the utmost importance, though having a vehicle where your engine is in the rear and can be dropped down, taken away, and have another engine installed, versus having a vehicle where the engine is in the front, be it in a bus or be it in a truck type body, kind of lost because I don't put periods at the end of my sentences like I'm supposed to. So let me go back for a second. The engine's supposed to be in the back. It's easier to work on. Okay. I already said should be stainless steel, the whole body, everything you can have in your vehicle. But what happens is, you know how expensive tour buses are. That includes stuff like Greyhound buses and anything that's not a school bus, like a dog-nosed school bus or a flat nose. So, the diesel pusher school buses, in my experience and opinion, are the best, except, if you could have a UFO, if you could have something that could fly, go in the water, underwater, go underground, all these things, that would be better, but I'm trying to keep it, more realistic. It's easier to exchange out the engine from my perspective, on a diesel pusher than it is on, say, a tractor trailer type body, dog nose, or flat nose vehicle, because you have to lift the engines out of those, or it's hard to work on the ones that are up front with you. People find those out after they buy the stuff. So now look, I only got 3 minutes or 4 minutes, whatever. So now you do your research. Try to get, if you want to, keep it the way I'm saying, something with the engine in the back, a diesel, not a gasoline. And something avoiding the type of engine or whatever other components that would require you to have someone else work on it. You need to have things you can work on yourself. That's a must. You need to do all the things inside of it, safety-wise, and so on. Because you got to get it registered once you finish converting it as a motorhome. Some places, do it as an RV, but as a motorhome, so that your insurance goes down and so that it's better for you, and here's an important thing to start off with. If you already have a home, if your mortgage is paid up, if you're not in so much of a bind that you got to leave immediately, if you could be there for a year or two, be at a house, even if it's an apartment, but you have access to a large area to work on your vehicle, to get it ready, roadworthy as a motorhome, and get all the registration, all that stuff changed over, do that first. You see all these videos where people say, oh, I always threw this in there, threw that in there, jumped on the road, and that's part of the adventure. And I've seen other videos, I'll leave names out of it, though I wanted to say maybe one name, but people might say, oh, he mentioned the name and he said this stuff bad, but we all ignored all the good stuff he was saying about the person, whatever it is. Oh, we're going to say bad stuff about him. I don't want to do that. I won't say names. You see the videos where people say, hey, it's about the adventure. This is what I want to stress to you. I guess it's good I kind of went off on that tangent for a second, because I want to say bus life, van life, all these things, car life, they're not about an adventure. Get that out of your mind. Please. It's serious. Just like I was watching the jail videos and people try to impress upon you who've been in that environment. Do not put yourself in a position to be there, and you will see people who've been the thuggiest thugs, who've been in organizations which you, as an outside person and watching movies like Scarface or whatever, respect. You will see those people say, you don't want to be here. I wouldn't want my kids here. I wouldn't want my wife, my family here. I don't want you here. Don't do it. But you're like, yeah, but no, don't do it. So I'm saying to you, do not look at going to live in your vehicle and stuff like that as an adventure. Maybe I'll make the third video about that, which you won't see for a while because I won't have enough gigs to upload it yet. But I'll try to upload those before the other ones that were important, because look, the time's already gone for the 20-minute thing. This is serious. This is your life. This is a fork in the road. So like, I was going to quote someone, but I don't want to even do that because people don't reciprocate the love. So I just say like this. You get to that fork in the road and you have a decision to make. And so what I'm saying to you is, if you're thinking clearly, then you should be saying to yourself, I'm getting ready to go out into an environment I have no idea about, no matter how many videos I watch, no how much I read, no matter how much money you have, or whatever the case is, no matter how many friends you have all over the place and all that stuff. You're going into unknown territory that can be very detrimental to your health, to your future, if you don't handle it correctly. Contact me. I'll say it like this. Contact me. If I can, we will make arrangements for us to converse, because I tried to reach out to a particular channel person. I've tried to do that in the past, but recently to someone, they actually just deleted my comment because I said, because I said Illuminati or whatever else I might have said in it. Because they made assumptions or they just didn't want to have nothing to do with it, whatever the case is. But that ends up being them not getting the information they need, or, stuff like that. Only a couple of seconds. So again, God bless. Hopefully I'll make the next video about this or whatever, and stay safe out there.